And we are recording. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hangout with Mentors. We are glad that you're here. And as you can see, we have a nice full panel tonight. We show up here every Wednesday evening with some sort of value-based topic that will help you in your business, either inspire you, motivate you, give you some tools to take to step up to your next level. And sometimes often actually, they end up spilling over and helping you in all areas of your life. So that's really cool. And tonight will be no different. We're going to talk about unstoppable goals. So why do we call them unstoppable goals? Because we're going to talk about them from a couple different angles. First of all, before we even go round robin, we're going to present how to be effective in planning goals and strategies in goal planning, and then we're going to share some keys, and this makes the really big difference. And I'll step back a little bit once I tell you about these keys. These keys will help you have sustainable goals. So, or your achievements that you achieve because of the goals, it'll help them be sustainable achievements. And it is a big difference. So what I used to do, I love people watching and observing. And so I used to always be observing doers. I love observing doers, especially, right? The action, the people that are getting stuff done. And there's a difference. And it took me a little while to really figure out what is that difference between the people who are, just always getting stuff done and doing things and making goals and achieving things. What's the difference between the people that are achieving goals, but they seem to be doing this roller coaster, highs and lows and great successes, and then smack, they fall down and they don't achieve for a while. And what's the difference between them and the people that are more so always growing and always improving and kind of more on the steady? What's the difference between those? So these keys, that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the difference. So Ray, I have one quick question for you. I know it's been a crazy day and I just shot them over to you now. We're supposed to be co-presenting here, but this is how we go, right? This is how we fly. Do you think with your content, because you're going to be presenting the strategic goal planning, do you think it fits to share the keys after or before?
I think that before would probably be good because, action, goal planning, to put it into action, I think putting those keys will kind of build a foundation.
Okay, cool. That's what we'll do then. A little bit of housekeeping first that I usually start with. If you're here, if you've been invited here and you're watching this, whether it's live or recorded, make sure that you get back with the person that invited you afterwards and see how you can become a part of this community, see what your next step is to find out more information. So that your communication point is the person that invited you. Make sure you get back with them. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this live or recorded, just communicate your thoughts. And I challenge everyone not on the panel and watching to write down, of course, take notes, but maybe write down a key takeaway. One key main highlight that either really moved you or that you are going to put into action or something, the highlight of the conversation. And it helps you remember, put it into action. And you can share it if you want, of course. We love the feedback for sure. And I think that's it for the housekeeping. So I'll quickly dig into this little list here. It's just a list of 8 things, but it's really powerful if you combine it with strategic goal planning. So the first one is really cool and obvious. Use strategic goal planning, a proven goal planning method. So often we can just be kind of lazy, set a goal and, go on your merry way. But it is a big deal, and it makes a difference if you take some time and use a specific goal planning method. Your life will thank you for it. Balance planning and action. So some of us are really good at planning, but then we don't step into action with it, right? And there's a difference. Or some people will do a bunch of action, but it's not really planned action. So balance planning and action. Set goals and work on these goals in all areas of your life. And this might be one of the most important points here, not just money and career. So how lots of people will focus on money and career and go hard and have great success in that, but your health pays for it, your relationships pay for it, right? So that's the trick, is to work on all areas of your life equally, and then they will all lift up at the same time. Always review your goals and the progress. If we don't review, we don't really know what worked and what didn't work and how we can do better. Seek expert help when you need it. How many of us are too stubborn to ask for help? Having a mentor or many mentors is really important. That's another cool thing about this community. We're constantly surrounded and we mentor each other on the daily. It's really cool. Don't be afraid to ask for help or advice or discuss things. It's really important. It has a lot to do with goal planning and success. Seek regular inspiration, especially through rough times. So seek it out. If you're having a rough time, if you're feeling low, seek out some sort of either inspiration or conversation, which end up being one and the same. Do not be a perfectionist in your goal. Often adjustments are required. And I laugh at that because I am not a perfectionist, right? Anyway, I have to talk to myself about that very often. Celebrate and analyze your achievements. So some of us spend so much time analyzing our achievements that we forget to celebrate. That's me. And some of us celebrate the achievements, but don't analyze, okay, how did I get there? Or why was that such a great achievement? So it's important to do both. And that's it. Those are the ones. So if anybody wants those, like in a document or something, just shout, and I can pop them into a document. That's all I have. Ray, it's over to you. And thank you again for saying yes.
For you, Susan. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
This was a really big topic when we were together in Chicago. So as soon as I picked this topic, I thought, Ray's going to do this with me.
I appreciate that. And I just want to say this, there's 5 areas of your life you're always going to want to set goals, just like you said, not just monetary. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? It's a money call. It's a money call. The goals are working.
My daughter had LASIK eye surgery today, so I'm probably going to have to go put some drops in her eyes. So I will be back.
No problem. Sure. This is what I love about this platform, is that we could just be us. But so anyway, what I want to say this is that there's 5 areas. It's not just about, and Steph and I took this very seriously when we started our real estate investment career back before the crash, of course. Some of you may know or remember. And but we had a mentor, and she taught us something that was really profound. And just like as Susan just said, there's areas in your life, not just monetary and not just business, because if you ignore, the other areas, then, problems expand there. Anything you ignore expands. So what you want to do is be able to cover every area. And that's what we did. And here they are. You might want to write them down. Number one would be health, not in any order, not in any specific order, but 1 would be health. 2 would be social relationships. 3 would be career. 4 would be your work. That would be your job or the thing that you have in front of you. And the 5th one would be spiritual. So these 5 concentric circles, and what I mean by concentric, how they join together. These areas are areas that you really want to look at, and you really want to meditate on where you want to be. Where do you want to be? And start it with the end in mind. 5 year, 3 year, 1 year, 6 month, 3 month, and your first 30 days. What are you going to, it's a goal attack. It's an attack. But I'll tell you this, a lot of people set goals but don't get them. And there was times where I didn't get my goals. I was writing things down like, what is it? But I was not emotionally attached to my goals. And this is where meditation and you taking time to really find out what you want. You know, Bob Proctor has always said, I'll help you get what you want, but you really have to know what you want. And I'll share some things with you because these are really good. This is something that has just been from my story growing personally and in personal development. And it's that there was times I didn't know what I wanted. I was 15 years old and I had no goals. You know, I couldn't see myself living at 30. Now that seems sad, but there's a lot of people out there that may be in that position. Nobody told me about goal setting. There's no plan. You just live, you know, and then when you graduate, you find a job and you work. And that was pretty much, that wasn't even told. That was just what was out there, right? That was the picture you were getting as a child, as you're growing. So you see these things and they become paradigms. And Bob Proctor's talked about paradigms and how to get, you know, how to change your paradigm. And for adults, one thing about adults, you know, we have to change our mind. Kids can make up their mind, but we have to change it. And that could be scary. And so a lot of people that come into your business, you know, or come into your organization, because we're all separate organizations coming together to help one another, it may be scary for some people. So you as a mentor, you as a coach, you as a friend to these new people, you know, you want to be able to share some of these things with them. So what we did was we did this: health, social relationships, career, work, spiritual. And we started to write those down 5 years out, what we wanted. And then we wrote them. And, you know, we put down what we wanted to see inside of our lives, and we put it all the way down to the now, right? And what happened in 5 years, what happened in 3 years, we reached our big goals in 3 years. In 3 years, all these things came to pass. And I say it came to pass because we took that piece of paper, we shoved it inside of a dresser, a desk drawer, and didn't look at them anymore. And we proceeded to go about our business, but we really wrote down what we really wanted. And the things that we really wanted started happening. I mean, because that came out of us onto this piece of paper, and we were both congruent to what we wanted. And when you can be able to do that, when you really get down to what you really want and start writing these things as an exercise, see, this is the real work. I think most people miss what the real work is. Yes, you got to drive traffic. Yes, you got to do these things. That's the busy work. That's the work. That's the daily method of operation. But when you really pick up what you want, you know, I used to have a lot of money goals, right? But it wasn't really the money that I wanted. It was what the money could purchase for me. And when you understand that, when you work from that place, what is this going to do for me? Wow, I could see me going on this vacation. I could see me having this new house. I could see me having this new boat. See, when it becomes emotional, that's when it's really working. That's when goal setting really starts to magic, so to speak. That's when magic, or the law of attraction, so to speak, comes into play, because you are really getting emotionally involved in what you want. And not only that, you're envisioning what you want. And that's the thing that propels you to make calls, to make ads, to do all the things that you have to do on a daily basis. And this is really, and I had to revisit this when we did the Chicago Limitless event, because when I remember when Susan was showing her magic carpet piece, that there was an area there, and it was below, it was underneath, it was the framework before you goal set. And it's finding out what you really want, who you really are. And from that place, it just sparked something in me, and I was like, you know, it relit a fire. And I had fire back when I was doing real estate. I had fire when I was building a carpet cleaning business, you know. But to reignite it, I wasn't really in love with those things, but those were the vehicles that I chose to be able to get to where I wanted to go. Maybe not the best vehicles, but you know what? I know in this industry has always called me back to square one. Start here, start where you are, and build, and you're going to be exactly where you want to be. because this business, this industry can afford you a great lifestyle. I've seen, and we've all seen it. You know, we've all seen it. And some of us have lived some of it, right? But you know what? You can even go higher than that. So I've taken this very thing, these 5 pieces, and I'm going to give out a PDF inside the Skype room, so keep your eyes open. Didn't get to it today with all the things that came our way, but this is what it's all about. It's like I don't lose my enthusiasm. I don't lose my passion because I know what I want. I know where I'm going. You know, I watch my son play basketball and all these hands go up before he goes and makes up a shot, right? But he's got to go through all those hands and his eye is on the goal. His eye is on that making that basket. And we have to keep our eye on the goal. We have to sit down and meditate. This is where meditation, all this stuff really plays a big part, because you want to sit down and envision your goal. And you want to get it so crystallized that you know it's real. It's as real as you're sitting there. It's as real. And this is where the subconscious mind comes into play. You know, your subconscious mind is the real workhorse inside of your business and inside of your life. It's the area where all the stuff really gets worked out, gets rearranged, gets organized to where it spits out a perfect pattern plan for you to walk into that newness of life, that new place. And when you're able to operate in that level, this is why your conscious mind, when you're writing down your goals, that's simple. But you got to visualize your goals, and you got to do that daily to really make goal getting part of the plan. And I think most people miss out on that. I had to look at it over and over and over again. I mean, I listen to speakers over and over and over again. Sometimes some of the same things, because some of the same things you hear differently. Have you noticed that? And this is what's beautiful about this. So those 5 areas of life, when you start to write them down, and I've went all the way to 20. I told Stephanie, you know, it sounds big, but I told Stephanie, I want to set a goal where my toe is by the grave. How do I want to leave? How do I want to graduate Schoolhouse Earth? And I really mean that, because I haven't done this. You know, I've had my ups and downs in life. I don't plan on having ups and downs in life anymore. I really believe that I can plan a life to where I know how I'm going to leave and what my legacy is going to say about me through generations beyond. You write a book, your name's in that book, you're ongoing speaking through that book for generations beyond. And you know, it's something that everybody on this panel, everybody not on this panel who's just checking us out, you have a purpose in life that you have to fulfill. This is one of the, I just have to say it because nobody told me this when I was younger. And I'm saying it because I want to be able to help someone and let them know how real their life can be and how important it is that you fulfill it. So that's what I have. Do we want a round robin? I'm done. I hope you guys like that.
Thank you. That was powerful, Ray. Thank you very much. And my key takeaway from combining what we both said is your goals must be congruent with who you are. All the other steps all the other points are really important, but they have to be congruent with who you are, or that mismatch will cause the ups and downs or failure to achieve. So Jason, do you have something to say on this topic, or what's your key takeaway? What are your thoughts, Jason?
Yeah, I do have, something, because I mean, goals are important. I mean, and again, going back to the fact that we're all human. Okay, I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, I set goals and I slack and I for some reason, quit, or stop, or Tammy, and she's taught me I don't hit the stop button anymore. I just hit the pause button, because as long as you hit the pause button again, you can keep going and become unstoppable.
Yeah, and
that's who we are, and that's what we're all about. So never give up. Really, I mean, that's my takeaway, is don't give up on your goals, okay? Just keep going towards them. And each and every step that you make towards that goal is progress. Okay, and that's what it's really all about, is progress. So when you're progressing towards your goal, well, you'll eventually reach it if you keep progressing. That's the main thing. So, keep setting the goals. And always, always set the goals out there. You don't want to set your goals, so close to where you're hitting them right off the bat, because that's really not a goal. You're not expanding yourself. You're not causing yourself to grow. So set some goals that are out there, okay? And really try to reach and stretch for them, so that way you grow along the way as you're progressing. And that's really, what I'd like to add to the topic. And again, we're all human, and my goal, okay, and I feel like that I have made progress in attending these Hangouts every Wednesday night, because I love them. Again, I have, prior commitments that I've had for years that I do. You'll notice I'm actually dialing in from my home instead of my truck tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, it's progress. It's progress. And I just love being here and seeing all these wonderful faces, new and old alike. And I can just see, as we continue along this path, just growing and growing and growing, because that's our goal, and or my goal. And I kind of stole it from you and Tammy, Susan.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help 100 people reach 6 figures in 2017. And
right.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's a goal. Yeah, and yes, we will do it together. Okay, and that's the beautiful thing about it, is I know I don't have to do it on my own, because I have all of you that are there to help me accomplish that goal. So that's really kind of awesome. So Ray, thank you for your ditty tonight. I really appreciate it. I took notes as well. Okay, and it's just great to be here. I'll say that.
Thank you, Jason.
That's it for me. I'll be short tonight.
That's more time for me. That's more time for me then.
Oh, you're not even allowed to talk tonight.
I got something to say.
Never
Hey,
forget
Rob,
about the book,
hey,
you guys.
I'm kidding. I love hearing you. Come on, I joke. Come on. Smile. Yeah, there's the smile.
Okay, Rob, you're up.
Okay. Hey, I couldn't wait to go, so I'm glad that you called on me. First of all, let me just tell you, now I'm looking at the squares here, by the way, instead of one thing. I like the squares because I can see everybody. It's like the Brady Bunch here. So Jason's over here for me. And yeah, I love that. And I love jumping in with all you guys. I love being around like-minded, entrepreneurial, cool thinking people. And I love these topics. You don't ever get a chance to talk about stuff like this. So I took some notes. Ray started off. He did an outstanding job. He's like a Yoda or something like that of stuff, but it gave me some ideas. There you go. It gave me some ideas here about some things. So I got up a couple of times. Sorry, maybe ADD. I don't like to label, but let's call it what it is. So I was like, oh, I got to get this. So I got one of my favorite books. Sorry, but I always think of a book. This one's a great book. It's called The Bee Book. Used to be available for free at www.thebee.com. I don't think that it's there anymore. This guy was awesome. He's kind of a little bit of a mentor for me. He's about 900 years old, I think, or about 95 years old when he died. His name was Rich Schnackenberg. And this book is absolutely, I've got about 40 copies. In fact, I gave about 80 away at a seminar we did one time. It was really, really awesome. I was going to have him speak, but he died like a month before, unfortunately. But one of the things that came to mind when we were talking about balance is this little thing here. I'll hold up to the camera. And notice he's not a Satanist, okay? So it's just a star, okay? He's not the devil or nothing like that. But he lists out what he says: spiritual, physical, mental, financial, and social. Maybe it's the same thing, and I'm sure he didn't conceive of this. There's everything kind of comes from one spot. But then he goes through, I'll spare kind of some of this stuff here about, if you're this, that, and the other, and you can see some of the pictures are lopsided, right? The person's too much in one category, you're too much in the other category. And so generally a lot of the times we'll talk about, hey, we want to be balanced and stuff like that. But, I heard somebody not long ago talk about, what, it's fine to be not balanced. You can actually be unbalanced. It's not going to be the end of your life. And if you want to be in the NFL, the National Football League, or you want to do something extraordinary or something like that, I'm sorry to tell you, you're going to be unbalanced. Unless you're some kind of superhuman, you're going to have to focus on stuff. So we are all here to drill a hole in the wall. And that hole is more money, less time. More money, less time, or in the case of you guys here with a great defined goal, help 100 people make $100,000. It's not just going to come simply easily, and it's probably going to mean that your star is going to be a little bit out of balance over to the business, but it can come back into balance later. So that was my first thought. Okay, my second one, and then I realized I was kind of being disrespectful because although I could hear it and I was listening to Ray, I was looking on my bookshelf for another book. I couldn't remember the name of it. Fantastic book. This guy, I saw him at Tony Robbins. And he's from Montreal. He runs this comic thing. He's a comedian originally, and he started some technology company. Now he's a motivational speaker. They sold the company for $120 million. But at the time, about a year before they sold it, and he put all this in this killer book I read, and his company was about to go bankrupt. And it was this tech company is kind of ahead of its time, and it was kind of in gaming. Doesn't really matter, but him and this other guy, his partner, they had kind of an annual meeting, like a couple of them or something like that. And he came in and he said the name of his company is called Airborne Entertainment. I do remember that. That did pop back up. Airborne Entertainment. So somebody can Google or something. And he brought a newspaper, it was Montreal Times or whatever it was, and said Airborne Entertainment sold for $120 million. And the date was a year from when it was then. Okay. So it would look like a regular real newspaper. So, oh man, seriously? I'm just getting going here. Wow. Just got to text. Okay. All right, I'll make it quick. I got a lot of really good stuff, but I'm going to have to cut it short. Anyhow, what he said, okay, on here was you visualize where it is that you want to go, okay, and you visualize what the outcome is. What was the thing? Then you work backwards as a detective, as like Columbo, to figure out what happened, who you met, what circumstances came into play in order to make that happen. So if you're like, oh, we want to sell the company for $100 million, who did we sell it to? And then they figured out, well, these guys would probably be somebody from Switzerland. Well, where did we meet them? We probably would have met them at a trade show. So as you can see, then they started going, which trade show? So as they went all the way backwards, and they mentioned, and what was the message, and what was this, and what was that? So they figured out all of the things that probably would have happened, and then they positioned themselves accordingly. Lastly, I'll say a couple things quickly is, number one, if you pray, pray. I speak things into existence. I give gratitude. I'm thankful. I only ask once, and then I give gratitude on. And I utilize my visualization, my opinion, to thank God for stuff that's already happened. Then the last thing is enjoy the journey. Figure like you're like on the Lord of the Rings or you're the Hobbit or something like that. It's a journey, okay? It's supposed to be. It's not going to be the way that you always think that it is. But if in your mind you can think to yourself, I win, I wonder how I'm going to win. I wonder how this is going to happen. And you have this faith-filled curiosity or expectation about, I wonder how this is going to turn out, okay? It puts you in a spot instead of saying, oh crap, I don't know how, well, it's not working out. You run, you never give up, you pursue until the end, and you think, I wonder, is a Hail Mary going to happen? What's going to happen in the end? And lastly, the very last part of it is something that came from one of my favorite books, As a Man Thinketh, and everybody should be reading every single day. Every day should be reading at least a few pages. And every time I had a no-show for a network marketing meeting, there was a lot, okay? I had this little thing memorized, okay? I couldn't find the book, but it doesn't matter because it's memorized. And it goes like this. Even if he fails, that's you. Did I say this before? Maybe I did. I'll say it anyway. Even if he fails again and again to accomplish his purpose, his goal, as he necessarily must, okay, until weakness is overcome, the strength of character, that's the building of you, gained will be the measure of your true success, and that will form a new starting point for future power. That's your next person coming in, your next victory, and triumph. So that's what I would tell you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rob. I love that book. I can't count how many times I've read it. And that line that you just said, that's powerful. That's really powerful. And speaking of the journey, some people ask me, why are you so happy all the time, even when like stuff's not going great? You know, The Hobbit, that's what my life looks like. That's what I see. That's what it is. Like when I call shiny people, they really glisten.
Can I add something?
You have to. Yeah, please do, Ray.
All right. The funny thing is when we were doing like our and I'll go back to this because it's very clear to me now, but when we were doing our real estate, we didn't have a dime. We didn't have any credit to buy real estate, but we went to look at houses. We walked in some of the most beautiful homes, and we walked around and we said, man, would we like this? Who would like this? You know, and we really got into it. We did it every Saturday. That's what we would do. We go out 3 or 4 hours during the morning and go and look at property. That's what we did. And we write down and we start evaluating it and all those things. So, you know, you can get into it without having to be able to start. You know, you actually walk into it. So
you have to start. Yeah, well, you have to start from somewhere and visualize it. Yeah, perfect. Very fitting. Very fitting. Greg, reading. We'll go to Greg Adams afterwards because we have 2 Gregs. But Greg, reading. Welcome. And would you like to step out? You're still muted. Would you like me to unmute you? I'll unmute you. You're good. You're good.
Good. Hello, everybody. Honored. Happy to be here.
Nice to have you.
Good. I'll figure out how to see everybody and all that as we go forward. But I see myself in 4. I guess you slide around.
Are you on your laptop?
No, it's my phone. Is the laptop better?
Yeah, on the laptop, there's a button on the upper right-hand corner that you can click, and then you can see everybody. So, yeah, so
okay. In the future, I'll use my laptop.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of prospecting, so I have all these other things open. I'm getting ready to call my West Coast people here in just a few minutes. So thanks for calling me. But you know, I love it also just everything that everyone has said. To be in alignment with people who are pointed in the same direction, and realizing that what we're doing is changing lives. And you know, it's a business that's awesome, but it's also like it's personal development disguised as a business, and I just love it because we're constantly growing, and we're also remunerated handsomely for doing so. And so I love what we do. I love what we bring to others. Those who are ready will see it. And like Joe says on the call in the morning, when the teachers, you know, or when the student's ready, the teacher appears. So just a couple quick notes, and then I won't, you know, I'll be brief because I know there's a lot of other people here that want to say stuff. But what you started up with, Rob, about the whole goal and the state of the meditation. So I mean, it took me a while to really get into the layers of that, to really understand. And what really, I guess, if you had to boil it down, what really comes up or has come up for me, for my ability to tap into a law of attraction, tap into abundance, is the word state. As all of that, to be able to get to the place through the gratitude that you've mentioned before and through meditation, really for me, it is all about the state. And as you've said it, you've all said it in different ways, to, you know, visualize how you will feel when you're there. But really, when you're there, you're putting yourself into that state. And if you can be in that place right now and feel and have the feels and the smells right now, then you're matching the vibration for that frequency, for it to occur. And one of the things, say they watch The Secret. I think The Secret was great. It was packaged perfectly, but it leaves out a lot of things. And one of them is like the problem that comes up a lot of times. And Susan, you alluded to this when you said that you have to, goals must be congruent with who you are. And the aha moment that I got was that when you state something, when you state a goal, that what happens is that there's 2 ends of the stick, as Abraham Hicks would say, that when you have the goal here, the things that are on the opposite end of the stick all show up right there, right away. And what I have found is that's basically, it's showing us which end are you going to give your attention to, which, you know, And everybody thinks, that this is all magic, and it's really not hocus pocus. It's focus. And if you can focus on that end of the stick of that which you feel that not only do you want, but then come into an alignment with that you deserve it, and work on your deserve issues, then that will be the end of the stick that you focus on. And when the opposites show up for you, that will be your way of proving to yourself, to the universe, whatever, that you really do want and deserve it, because those little roadblocks will seem like little road jumps. You'll jump over them versus having them stop you. And what Rob was talking about, also having basically forensically backtracking, was excellent. That reminded me also of something I heard, and then I'll just finish here, was that as far as goals go, if you can have your goal and visualize yourself at the end of, like, say, a DVD, and with like complete certainty that you will have this, and you're set, and this is going to happen, and you feel it, and you can get to that place of the congruency, and it's going to happen, and that's just it. There's just no other way than this. Then if you knew that was how your video or DVD ended, so to speak, then if you rewound and you saw the little drama things that happened that seem like drama, that seem like obstacles, would you then, if you knew how it ended, would you see the little drama things that happen as being as big as they appear sometimes in our minds? The answer is probably not, because we just know they're learning things for us, they're guiding things for us. So meanwhile, I love the topic. I think it's great to have good goals and to be clear. And last but not least, one of the first things that you said, Rob, was about most people don't know. They think they know, but they're too abstract. And I will wholeheartedly agree. The more clear that you can get on those goals, obviously the more likelihood that you will receive those. And so that's pretty much what's coming up for me. And I thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Greg. That was like, those few minutes was just packed with even more value. And you brought up one thing that I was secretly hoping somebody else would bring up other than me, and that's deal with the deserving issues. When you truly believe and know that you deserve it, it's going to come much easier. So thank you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing, Greg.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Greg Adams, over to you.
Hey, hi, everybody. This is a phenomenal topic. I love it. Great. I'm hearing some really good stuff, and I appreciate it. I know for me, when you were talking about the keys and the 8 keys, and you got to number 5, I wrote it down. It says seek professional advice and help, and that's why I'm with the Alliance, because that's professional help and advice, and I'm getting it from. It's just such a joy to be here with all the winners, and I'm working on that deserving issue, Susan. I think we chatted a little bit about it over the weekend, and I'm working on it. I tell you what, I'm feeling real good about what's going on with me and with the business. I'm excited about it, and obviously the goals are a huge part of it. So I'm just going to listen, going to be a sponge tonight, soak up everything I can, and thank you guys all in advance for your input, because you guys are my teachers.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, and we're not always in that perfect place. We all need to work on the deserving stuff, and hearing it from other people is really important too, right?
Amen.
Very important. Kelly, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry for the interruptions. My daughter had a goal to get her eyes done, and so that was today. So now she feels like there's glass in there, and it's every, so often we have 3 types of drops, that it's every 20 minutes. And I reminded her I had that done in 1999, and I don't remember somebody there putting the drops in for me, but that's okay. I'm really happy to be able to help her. So excuse me when I have to dart out here again. I'm glad we do record these, and I'm going to be able to go back. But goal setting obviously is you can't hit a target you don't have. And I think one thing about goal setting that's really important is there's areas of our life that we need to goal set. And there's mental and physical and spiritual and business wise and family wise. And what I found over the years was I'd break it into, well, what is my role in life? You know, who am I to the people around me? You know, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a lover, I'm a wife, I'm, you know, a friend, I'm a business mate, which really for us, I mean, we're family. So, you know, but I'm someone who wants to inspire people. And so how do I do these things? And obviously finances is a really, really big part of that. Unfortunately, and I've told my kids, you know, 90% of our life ranks right up there with oxygen, and it's how we handle our finances and money. So, and I think the best goals are those that you can actually put your finger on. I remember when I was young, I would actually try to set goals for having peace in my life. I mean, it's like, how do you do that? You know, it's got to be somewhat measurable. Of course, peace came with faith in my life, so that was a process there. But you know, when you discover who you want to end up to be, and I think Ray said it there. You know, the end of your life. You know, what do you want on your tombstone if you're going to have one of those? You know, what do you want people to say about you? And it's not about what we have as much as who we become. And who we become deals with the relationships that we have and who we are in our life. And so for me, you know, my goals are always wrapped around a little bit of, well, a whole lot of family, my faith, and my occupation. So physical is a big part in there too. Unfortunately, I probably, that's one of the lesser parts that, you know, I try, and you guys motivate me a lot with that. So, and it's a bit of a challenge for me with health-wise goals, because I always seem to, you know, run into some brick walls along the way. I deal with some kind of chronic issues that, you know, will make it seem like I'm going 2 steps backwards before I go 1 step forward. But, you know, you keep hopeful and you keep your eye on the prize, where you're going to be. It's amazing how many things in my life I've just cut out pictures in magazines and gone and looked at. And that was more when I was maybe into the things in my life. But all of a sudden, you know, they'd show up and they'd be in your life. And so you do get what you focus on, and just be aware of that very fact. You get what you focus on. So focus on the things you want and the good things in your life. And I'm just happy to be able to contribute. And I got to run and do another session of drops, and I'll be back. Thanks, guys.
You are muted, Susan. Oh. It just her batteries have run out of her mouse. Next goal is to get batteries.
Take it away, Ray.
What's that?
Take it away.
Take it away. Well, I'll tell you what, just following up with what everybody else is saying at this moment, I believe that we have really, how much can you gather and really put down right now, you know, into knowing that this is true. See, I remember when I used to listen like to Bob or some of these other guys that may speak on stages, I used to think they were divine, or they were just suggestions that they would say. You know, I never really took them as truth. And you really, if you really embrace this, don't let it slip away from you. I just want to give this warning. This does work. It will work. It works all the time, and it works even if you don't have goals. One of the things is I had to find out what goals were, and all they do is give you direction towards your purpose, right? And it gives you a vision to go toward your purpose. And Bob has talked about this, purpose, vision, and goals. And I know a lot about Bob because I went through his whole system. But purpose, vision, and goals, that's what goals do. Goals take you to your purpose in life. And you can't get to your purpose if you don't have a vision on how you're going to get there. And that's what it's really about in a nutshell. So, but with everybody sharing this stuff has really brought, this is what makes the dream work. It's all the voices together. People getting pieces and being able to put those pieces in, hearing it on a different angle. That is so powerful to me. It really is. But go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. So,
double A batteries.
Sorry. So this is my son's really cool WoW gaming mouse, and so it was connected, and as you all know from the beginning, I just literally landed here, so I just carried on with this, and then the battery died. But I don't know, I haven't figured it out, so I didn't know how to shut it off so I could use one of my other mouses. So it was funny. Thank you for taking over. And then I got the lecture, well, don't use my mouse. Peace.
Now what's he going to do tonight?
Something. Speaking of which, he's doing all this gaming, and at the same time he's playing videos, he's going to be joining our community. So
awesome.
You guys get to put up with some of him too. David and Penny, I'd love to hear from you on this topic. Do you want me to unmute you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're live.
This is quite a fantastic subject. In fact, I think I'm going to be listening to this 2 or 3 times because there's so much information in here.
Wow.
And so I don't know. I'm just going to say that, thank you, Ray and Susan, for this. And that you asked for takeaways. So the 2 takeaways that I heard from Ray is, you mentioned every one of us has a plan and purpose for our life. And we have to remind ourselves that we do. And Penny and I wrote down, to try to quantify and qualify those plan and purpose, we wrote down our dreams, right? But if we don't actually, we can write down our dreams, but if we don't, we haven't done this yet this year. If we don't start to write some goals and how we're going to get those dreams, then we're probably going to fall short of the mark by as much as 50%, maybe even more, for me. And the second thing I heard is balance, right? And everybody's saying balance, I could probably work 100% on my marriage or my relationships with my wife. And that's pretty wise because the happy wife is a happy life. But part of that is working on my emotional state of mind, working on my body so that my emotions are better. There's a lot of things that happen in my body, working on my mindset, working on even the money is good. But if I worked on the money alone, then I can resent some of the things that come into even my life and my marriage. So I think it's having a whole balance in life. And what a perfect timing, because I was listening to Joe this morning, and he was talking about the tsunami. And I said, and I'm thinking, in January in business, things are going to be really big. There's no doubt about it. And part of the process is preparing, being proactive and not reactive, and getting our goals. This is what I'm going to do, from as of tonight, getting our goals in place so that we're already ahead of the game. We're prepared. We're not overrun by a lot of the stuff that's going to happen. And then we won't be hit by a lot of the emotional strain and spiritual strain, etc. So I'm going to quit right there and just thank you for tonight. And I'm going to listen to this again.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And that is true. It's sometimes that how we can be the best for our partner or our children is not necessarily directly serving them, or we think, how can, you're always doing for them, but sometimes what's best is to actually work on being our best version, and then we just are everything that they need by working on ourselves. So the perspective of self-work, that it's selfish, it actually isn't as selfish as it can be perceived to be. It's actually helps us to be our best version, so we actually can give more. So Yeah. Sometimes we're a better husband, partner, or wife, or friend, or colleague if we are actually working really hard on ourselves. That's really cool. Super T, I would love to hear from you. You have been with us anyway, but your physical presence is extra special.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I missed you guys. And well, I have like almost a page of notes for everyone that has spoken. But I'm gonna keep it quick. Ray and I, we have been talking for a while. Ray is my real rock. Susan too. We speak. And so, but Ray and I, we were talking about mentors and, and goal setting and things like that, and about all the aspects of the areas in life. And Kia mentioned about, it's good to have a mentor in every area, in your social area. And I have a life coach, and, we talked about things like that. And when I speak with her, she talks, well, for me, and it might be, as Joe would like to say, woo-woo language, but that's what I resonate with. So we talk about soul curriculums, the reason that we have chosen to be here. Everyone has chosen their path in life, and this is where you go. Now, that's why when you make choices, those are your choices of how you want to proceed out of the situation you're in, or where you see yourself being, or who you see yourself becoming. You've chosen that. That's your soul curriculum. And that's just the way I talk with her. So, when Rob was saying about, as he said, reverse engineering from where you see yourself, and then going back from there saying, how did I get there? Well, that's the same thing as when we speak, and she says, well, how do you see yourself, Tony? Speak to your future self. I see myself totally there. I see myself past all of these stumbles and things that, as Jason says, I put my finger on the pause button and slowed down on some things business-wise or whatever. And it's up to me to remove my finger and continue on. Everyone has that choice. So she says, well, what does that person or who you are, that future Tony that's past everything, tell her to give you the clues. Tell her what did you do? What were those steps? And that's what I do. So yeah, people, I talk to myself, I talk to my future self, my successful self, who I know, the person that I want my legacy to know and see, the person I'm pushing myself to be, so that when I do leave this schoolhouse earth, they know why I did the things I did and who I am. Because everyone wants their people to know who they are. And because we all go through the same time in troubles and tribulations, we don't always get it in the moment. So when they see who I am from what I have left, I want them to see what I see, the me that I know that I am. So yeah, I'm working in the woo-woo realm, and that's okay. But that's how I see myself. Total family and friends, helping other people. And I want that to be known. And I've got to step out there and do that. And I'm the only one who can. And being here empowers me to do that. And setting a goal and seeing from my future self that I've already made the goal, and I'm just going through those steps now, so that when I leave that legacy, that's what it's going to be. I already know what it's going to be, and that's what you guys are talking about: seeing exactly what you want, so that you know where you're going to go. Setting that goal and sticking to it.
Love it.
That's my daddy.
Powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Super T. That is powerful. 11 years ago, and for a stretch when I didn't know how I was going to get out of that bed and carry on, etc., I actually named that self that you're describing. I named her, and she stays with me to this day. It's Zelemia. You'll see I have a website. everything. Like it became so real, and that is what kept me focused. So it's definitely powerful to name your alter ego your tomorrow self. Definitely a powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Sue, thank you for being here. I'm so happy you're here. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Me too. Oh, I've got pages and pages. Right. And funny thing, about a half an hour before this started, my neighbor had come to talk to me. His daughter was sitting here watching a movie, and his son is 15 years old, and he already sees himself as a NFL player. He's already got it mapped out. And Dad, and the passion that this kid's had comes through the dad, because the dad has it too, and he's helping him. But I mean, he's sending, colleges are already after him. He started both offense and defense this year as a freshman in varsity. So it was pretty amazing to see all that passion and all that excitement coming from the kid through the dad, and where he wants to be. He's only going to go to college 3 years, and then he's going to bump out. And he doesn't, I don't think he's decided that the team he wants to go to, because that might be a little strange. But man, I was so impressed with the way that kid was, the dad was explaining to me. And this kid works hard. He says he's not a natural athlete. So it's not, he does this all the time. And they're always working on areas. And I said, well, how are his grades? And he says, well, he kind of figured that out. Now he's up at 3.5. So it's really interesting to see how these young kids are doing this automatically, where some of us older people have to struggle at it. And Super T said, when she was talking about the future self, I can remember a coach telling me to write a letter to yourself from the future. So write yourself a letter as if you were in the future, and explain to yourself that's in the past how easy it is and how great you are, and that kind of stuff. So also, as far as being congruent with your goals, what you said, Susan, when things come fast and furious. So hang on to your seats, because it just seems to just click, 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 click. And you're kind of going, what the heck is going on? And then you go, oh, everything's right with me, everything. So I thank everybody, because I've got so many notes. There's so much fun stuff to work on with goals, and everybody here, it's contagious. It is absolutely contagious. So I'm excited to get started with goals, and I know the person that's going to help me with those.
I wonder what her name is.
I think her name happens to be Susan.
Thanks for that share, Sue.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled you're here with us.
Well, you're welcome. And if I pop out, it's because, or if I look like I'm shaking, it's because I am. My little house, it's really windy and snowy up here, so the house is going like this. But we've got a neighbor on her way home, so I might have to jet and go bail her out. I don't know.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. All good. All good.
All right.
So I have Susan K, and Kenny to get to. Anybody jumping off their seat? Okay, Susan, I'm gonna take you because you might say no. I know how you roll. Susan, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Susan, everyone.
And thank you for coming out. I know you're still getting used to video, so I appreciate your presence here. It's everyone wants you to be here, so thank you. Your voice matters.
And I wanted to be here, and I did make a goal last week to be here. You know, I really wanted to last week, but coming from Vegas, I still work for another company, a 1099 employee, and I have to satisfy them as well, so I couldn't be here. So I made a goal to be here, and I literally just got out of the shower 15 minutes before this started. I've got wet hair. I haven't made dinner for my husband yet, but I had made the decision I was going to be here. So here I am. Thank you for having me. As far as goals go, I'll be the first to admit that I have not made a whole lot recently that I have written down. I used to do that, and somewhere in the last several years, I've stopped. I think I'd mentioned on another call, I actually got to the point where I've kind of, stopped growing in a lot of areas, and that was one of the areas I stopped. I stopped writing things down. I will tell you that I have made a lot of goals in my mind. I've thought about it, made a decision. Yes, I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. Maybe my husband and ourselves, like a few years ago, we made the decision we're going to get a trailer, we're going to get a truck, and we're going to start traveling. Never wrote it down. Didn't have any money. Didn't know where that truck was going to come from. Didn't know where that trailer was going to come from, but we made the decision. And I think almost 2.5, not even quite 2.5 years after that decision, we had purchased the truck a year later, and then we got the trailer, which was a year ago, and now we were starting to do some traveling. That's one of the reasons why I've started, the business with Titan, because I want to travel. I want to be able, I have to work. I want to do that. So yeah, those goals did come to be. When you think about these things, they will. However, I've taken, kind of like Ray Adams, rather than really probably giving anyone any food for thought, I took a whole lot tonight. I mean, the first thing that you said, Susan, I wrote down before you even gave the list of 8 things was observe doers. That's fantastic. And I love to watch people, both ones that are doing good and both that are not. Make mental note. Don't do that. Oh, that's good. I think I'm going to follow that. So I do like to really observe people. I took a nugget from every single one that has spoke so far. Ray, you've got a lot of good advice there too, but you said keep your eye on the goal. Yes, I need to write it down so I can keep an eye on it and check it and go back and see where I'm at. Again, it doesn't really matter at the end if you for sure make it, as long as you're going out there trying. Maybe you've got a goal set for 3 years, but it takes you 5 years. That's okay. Just do it. And like Jason said, you can push the pause button on your goals. And that is, I've heard that a few times here recently. I know he got that from Tammy, but it's really a profound thought for me personally, because I'm the type of person that I think once I maybe put something in action and maybe I don't, I kind of messed up, I'll quit, I'll start again next week, next month, next year. No, I don't have to start over. Maybe I'm just going to pause for, a few days, a couple weeks, and just go. So I really, really do like that. And then Rob, I know I should be doing this, but I don't do it, and I need to write it down as a goal. I should be reading every single day. I do read different things, but my personal self-development, I really should do. I do pretty good, and then I let things kind of throw me off my game, but I need to not do that. And then great reading. I love that you said, this is personal development designed as a business. I like that. I'm getting paid to develop myself into a better person. And then Greg Adams, with all the things you said, the one that I loved is you're doing a lot of observing. I like to observe as well. Kelly, you can't hit a target that you don't have, and that's for sure. So again, I've got to have these goals, I've got to have these targets, and I've got to know where I'm at with that. And I'm sorry that I'm being redundant and repeating everything, but I mean, I got a lot out of everything from everyone so far. And then, David and Penny, if you don't write down your goals, you said that you'll probably miss them by about 50%. And that's true. Again, I miss a lot of stuff because I'm not writing them down. And then Super T, hi. Love your hat, by the way. Maybe that's what I should have done. I should have put one on. Okay, said you got wet hair. It's cool. Speak to your future self. Mm-hmm. It's true about speaking to yourself. And I did read a book years ago, What You Say When You Talk to Yourself. And it reminded me of that. So again, what am I saying to myself? And I need to get back into really being careful with that and paying attention to that. Because, you know, we just say things, but, you know, again, what you think about will come about. And if you're speaking it, it definitely will. And then Susie, or Sue, I should say, write yourself a letter to your future self, which I'm definitely going to do. I'm going to make that as a goal to do it this next year. So really, I came here to do observing and to learn. When I saw the subject, even though I didn't know last week when I made the goal to be here, I knew I was going to be here and be in front of my computer with my camera on there. And then when I saw that you know, that last night that it was on goal setting, I'm like, I can't wait. So here I am, and I've got a lot of notes here, and thank every one of you. So thanks for letting me come out.
Thank you, Susan. I loved each one of your takeaways. Thank you for sharing them. That is really valuable, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate all of you guys. Truly, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think that for each, but like that should be a goal that we all have is for the key takeaways, because it really moves us into a different direction if we focus on at least one key takeaway from everything we read, everything we listen to, and all of our events. It's really cool. And when they're shared, it means something different. Like as you went through all of your key takeaways from every person, it moved me. And I'm sure it had the same effect on everyone. So thank you for sharing that. Sometimes it's not, and you said something about, you know, if we don't reach the goal or what, but it's not always about, the goal isn't always the biggest prize, right? It's the growth and the evolution of ourselves on the journey as we're working towards the goal that is sometimes the greater prize. So it's okay to adapt. It's okay if we don't meet them, as long as we're aware of the why and the what and the how. So yeah, thank you, Susan. I have a hand up. Kenny, you're next, and I can't wait to hear your input here. But Thomas has you have your hand up. Typically your hand up means that you want to come out, so I'm going to promote you out. But if your hand up means that you have a question, let me see. Okay.
Can I say something real quick while you're doing that?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
I just want to say that, you know, Bob has always said, don't change the goal. Just, you can change the date. Don't change the goal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some things that you don't want. There's some things that won't show up because you didn't really want them anyway. They were just things that you were just brain dumping on. And it's okay. You know, don't get us so caught up with trying to be perfect. You know, too many people try to get perfect and they seek perfection and they lose the big picture.
I agree, Ray. I agree. And that's one of the keys, right? It says something about not being a perfectionist. Do not be a perfectionist in your goals. It's okay to adjust and adapt. Definitely. Welcome, Thomas. And we're over to Kenny. I'll come back to you, Thomas. Kenny, hi.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Okay, so I just want to, I'll share my piece on this. And there's been so much good golden nuggets. I got so much notes. But my biggest piece in goal setting and keeping my goals is, one, I do have a goal book. There's nothing but goals in this book. I do not share this book with anybody. I don't tell nobody about my goals. I share them with me and God. Them are the only ones that know about these goals, because they do change, and they've been changing on my whole entire life. Well, especially when you have kids at a young age, right? I was 17 when I had my first child, so you can imagine how many goals changed in that time period. I'm 42 now. My youngest is 19. She's in college. That was a goal for me, to get her to college. So life will have these up and down battles regardless of what you go through. But you have to keep your eye on the focus. And my focus was to get them to college, you know. So that was a big piece for me. But for my own my own accomplishments and goals. I remember one time I wanted to lose weight. I wrote it down, and I went at that goal every day. But I didn't make it something I couldn't do. I went to the gym 30 minutes a day. That was it. I didn't say I wanted to go in there 5 hours out the day. I'm going to make this hard. It was 30 minutes a day. It took me 1 year. I bulked up with muscle. It was beautiful. But I learned something through the process. See, when you're going for them goals, you're going to learn something through the process, which will build you up. So when you go through problems, you won't worry about them. You won't worry about them. Because you're going to get to that goal as long as you stay focused. Like, it's going to happen. You're going to have some people tell you no. You're going to have less yeses, but you're going to have a lot of no's. But it don't matter. Don't matter, because the yeses here mean a lot. That's my piece. And one more piece. Be selfish. I'm very selfish. That's how you get goals accomplished. People hear things and then they'll try to come in and mess them goals up. But if you focus and you selfish, my father used to tell me that all the time. You so selfish. People ask you to do something, you tell them no with the quickness. Yeah, I'm focused. I got things going on over here. Okay? So y'all be the same way. There's nothing wrong with telling somebody no, you can't do something. It's a better benefit for you and your family. Because if you can't be there for you, how are you going to be there for your family? All right.
Awesome. That was powerful, Kenny. And did you all notice what he said? Yes means a lot around here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good takeaways. I love the goal book that you don't share with anybody. I got one of those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, welcome. I'm going to unmute you.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Hello. I'm kind of a newbie here, and I've got some great notes here and some great nuggets that we picked up tonight. And I really like those goals that Ray had come out with, and that was pretty awesome. One of the things I have done, I've heard this most of my career, about writing down your goals. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I found something that would magnify that works for me, and it's worked so well that family members have actually followed suit. And one of the things would be, if I have a goal that I want to achieve, a boat or a home or a car or a truck, whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve to get, I would put a picture on my refrigerator. Now, so not only does my goals remind me, but I see that picture every time I go to that refrigerator. So one of the things that works so well, and I put down a living room suit that my wife and I had chosen that we liked, couldn't afford it, didn't think we was going to make it, and lo and behold, when we came around to getting one, we got this living room set, and we looked at it and says, oh my God, that's the picture on my refrigerator. And it wasn't what I had planned whatsoever. And it worked so well that my children would take and put a picture over top of mine, because now they want the gold. So it magnifies my goals. But some of the goals I've done this year, I'm a veteran, and we had some programs for veterans to help us maintain our weight and to get off some medications such as lowering your cholesterol and whatever. And a friend of mine talking to me to do that. So I went to do this, so I did it, and lo and behold, I got a habit of going out there walking about 3.5 to 4 miles a day. Well, not a day, excuse me, about 3 times a week. And it worked. And I thought, wow, that's pretty awesome. So if I want to remind myself, is don't go out and walk and you see your weight comes back. So I found there are goals. Sometimes I don't know I'm setting goals, but I do unconsciously. But I like the ones as far as the mental goals. I've learned some things in my past on sales and around being different kinds of things that careers I've gone through, is if you're on a call and you're making some calls and you get somebody, it's just like, okay, I'll go look at your website, but they never do. So I put this goal in front of me. Some do, some don't, so what? And I go do that so you don't get all frustrated by when they don't. There's more people out there. Like Jason was talking to me, I think it was yesterday. I was talking to him. I did a three-way with one of my prospects. And it's just like, it doesn't make a difference if they don't see it. The goal is to help people. I love helping people. That's why I do what I'm doing. I'm an insurance agent, and I'm meeting people. I'm trying to help them set up their final expenses or annuities or retirement plans. And all you can do is put somebody in front of it and help them the best you can. If they don't take advantage, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. So just sit back and enjoy the road, enjoy the trip, enjoy the things you learn. And I love meeting people. I just enjoy that. And I'm a veteran, a retired veteran. I put 20 years with the railroad. I'm a retired railroad conductor. Didn't like being retired. Went in the insurance business about 23 years ago. And so I meet people trying to help them. And I get paid well for it. So what I've been doing is seeing those people, help them with their retirement. Then I turn around and talk to them about what I do, about this Unstoppable Alliance. And they love it. Now, whether they're going to do it, I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. That's their decision, not mine. But the point is, I just try to help them. But I love these nuggets you guys gave us tonight. I saw some awesome things in there about different goals to go. And like what Kenneth had said about your private goal that you'll share with everybody. You know, and you work on those things like that because you're the only one that knows what you're doing, and other than you and God. And of course, that's one of the things I find that, of course, he knows what we're doing all the time anyway, so we just try to do our best. Because guess what? At the end of the road, when we're, like Ray had said, at the end of the road, guess what? He's going to know what you did. So do your best, help people. Don't worry about it if they can't achieve everybody's goal. And I love what Jason said. He wants to make what did he say, 100 people, $100,000? Hey, Jason, I want to be one of those. Because I can go and help. And to me, you think about things like winning the lotto and the Powerball and all of that, which is really cool. But, you know, when I said about thinking about if I won something like that, there are a lot of people who would be happy because I probably give most of it away because I want to help other people. I get a thrill of seeing their laughter, their faces glow, and all the exciting things that go with it. So it's just a wonderful thing, life. You just like the journey we go through, the things you learn. I love to watch people. Sometimes I go to the mall just to watch people. People are so funny. You see everything out there. I love it. And some of those people you can help, some of them you can't. Some of them don't want to be helped. But guess what? There's so many people out there that do. So guys, thank you for all the nuggets and the goals that you helped me see in my life. I magnify them, put in my refrigerator, so I remind myself that there is that cabin I want to get, there is that boat I want, all those little trinkets and toys. But guess what? I would love to go buy somebody else a car. I was with a friend not too long ago, and he and I were driving around. We went to a gas pump to get gas, and so he said this person that you see, they were only pump a little bit because that's all they could afford. He went over there, went inside the station, paid for that lady's gas, and she'd go like, my God, what happened? I didn't have to pay for it. No, my friend did. He just paid for her to fill her tank, and she didn't even know who did it. That was fun. That was enjoyable. That's the kind of things I like to do. Hey, thanks, guys. I love it. This is awesome tonight. Thanks.
That's awesome, Thomas. Have you ever been out on a platform like this before?
I think I was on my first came on because I'm a newbie. I've only been on it since July. Greg Beaver was called me earlier tonight, and we were talking about it. He said, don't forget to call tonight. And I said, oh, yeah, how do I do that again? So, no, I love it because all of these things you guys shared tonight has been exciting. I mean, this has really pumped me up, so thanks.
I can tell. Thank you so much for coming up. What a great last speaker. Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome. Thank you. Let's call me Tom. I don't know why I put Thomas on it. Just Tom's easier.
Tom? Okay, Tom.
Thank you.
It was great. I actually don't even know how to close it out after that because you kind of like spun the fun.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That is awesome. Ray, do you have anything to say before we wrap it up and close it out? We're at an hour and a half. I'm so grateful. What a great night.
I knew this was going to go long. I am so happy that
Yeah.
that joy, Tom, you have, you just resonated with a whole lot of people in this group. You just touched a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I love you guys. Thanks.
You're a walking reward for 10,000 people, my friend.
We all just fell in love with you. Can you imagine about the viewers?
Hey, where does everybody live? I live in Florida. Where's everybody else live?
Seattle.
Seattle. All right.
Las Vegas.
Chicago.
Yay.
Kenny's in Florida. I'm
in
way up
Florida.
north. I'm north in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh my God.
And you're north in
Snow country.
Tom, what part of Florida are you?
Just everybody knows where Daytona is. I live a little north of Daytona.
I'm in Palm Coast. I'm like 30 miles outside of Daytona.
Oh my God, you're probably on about 10 or 11 miles from me.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to hook up, do some.
Oh, you two gonna be hanging out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a cool community. I'm telling you. This is
Yes.
Oh my
I'm coming
goodness.
down to Florida.
I think Susan needs to make another trip to Florida. I'm thinking.
Come on down.
It's been a few months. I think
Yes.
it's time.
Yes. Perfect time to be here. I think it's just the perfect time to be here.
This is
My kids are scattered. I got them up in Oregon, and I got them in Ohio. I got them in Illinois. My kids are scattered all over the place.
Okay, so we can chat afterwards, but let's wrap it up for the recording. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Each one of you on the panel, thank you. Every week is great, so thank you for coming. And everyone in the audience, if you're not already a part of our community, get back with the person that invited you. I did have a bonus. I was going to screen share and share something really cool tonight, but this has gone on too long. So watch for that maybe next week. Thank you. Thank you very much. And every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, and the recordings are usually available about 24 hours afterwards. And that's it. I will stop the recording. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Yes, I appreciate your help in